So this camp has been around for a very long time and is so well maintained that, and the support of the Rotary Club and the YMCA, it will be around for a long time.
I'm Agnes Stowicki, Managing Editor with Our Kids. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading camps and kids programs. This is the Our Kids Insider Perspective.
We find Camp Presqu'ile is very inclusive, everywhere from children who are differently abled to LGBTQ plus community involvement. Also, it's right on the shores of Georgian Bay, and they are right on the bay. Like, it's beautiful. The scenery is beautiful. The location is perfect for us. We don't live too far away, so when sending the younger ones, it's kind of nice that we're close by. But we really, it's funny, I grew up in the area and I didn't even know the camp existed until a friend told me they sent their kid there. And I was like, what? And then we looked into it and went, yeah, let's send. And we started with our oldest first, Dakota. So. There seems to be lots of great programming and yet also downtime so that kids aren't overwhelmed. So the downtime tends to be sort of more of an activity of their choosing. And then the programming is based around swimming, archery, trail walks, hikes, arts and crafts. They have music programs. So lots of fun there. And then because of the location, it has like a really nice wide open space for just general unstructured play. So for Dakota, I didn't know until they were finished their first week. There wasn't really any hesitancy. We had been at another camp for a couple years before that. So Dakota was at an age very aware of what was happening in camp. They were almost 13, so they were a little bit older starting at Camp Presqu'ile. But when they came home, it was the nonstop singing of the camp songs all the way home, and the stories, and I made this friend, and we're going to keep in touch, you know, doing this, and like all these other good things that I just thought, because Dakota is, I should mention, very quiet. So for them to be so verbal about their experience, I just knew, I was like, bam, like this is the one. We're going back next year. And I think it was, I think we got 1 year as a camper, and then the leadership and training was where Dakota's age landed them the next time. And it was perfect. For Cameron though, Cameron is very outgoing. Cameron went this year for the first time. She's 8 years old. For her, she already knew where she was going because of coming to drop Dakota off. But she's just that girl. Like, as soon as she saw there was a pool and there was, you know, all these activities, and she'd get to do crafts, and she's a singing and dancing kid. So but there was going to be music. She was like, I didn't even have to stay. Like, some parents were there until, you know, they got kicked off the property. I was like, okay, I'll see you later. She was already making friends and having a great time. So I knew right away she was good. So I think I have the most to say first about Dakota. So confidence, definitely, like a huge change. The responsibility level too, you know, you're going away for 2 weeks at a time. Like when they got into the leadership and training, they were volunteering. They got volunteer hours for working with the programming with the other campers. But also because of the environment there, Dakota did a lot of self-discovery, and actually they went to camp using pronouns she, her, and now actually would prefer to be called Dakota and using pronouns they, them. And I don't think the environment at their school, while very supportive, was they were feeling too much like needing to fit in at school, where at camp they didn't feel the need to fit in. They just got to be them and explore who they were. And I think that was really beneficial. And then as for Cameron, it was the independence growth. The independence that came out of that was phenomenal. And she wants to go back for 2 weeks straight next year or this summer. So she's ready for more. Cameron did have a medical situation her first week there. The staff were phenomenal about it, but what was really interesting to me is that Cameron was more upset that she had to come home than what happened. I was like really impressed with how everything was handled from start to finish, follow up, the whole bit. We are lucky at this camp that there's a nurse and a doctor on call, which I think most camps have now. I was never hesitant or worried about them getting hurt, either of them. I really was more worried about whether they would get homesick, right? Like homesick's always the one that I go to first, like, oh my gosh, so we'll see how this will go. But the way that the staff are trained and the tools that they have at their disposal and their resources, your kids are well looked after, like they really are, and they're there to have fun. And the counselors are there to provide as much fun as possible in a safe environment. So I really feel like like Dakota was older when they went to camp, so I didn't have a lot of hesitation. So I already had one kid that had gone off, so that wasn't so bad when I sent Cameron along. But just knowing those things were in place, I would say parents, send your kids. It's the best experience. So there's the personal growth that they do very much on their own. Like as parents, we tend to kind of guide, and when they're at home with us, this gives them a chance to do all those things we've been teaching them, as well as explore on their own and just become their own little person. And then the friendships, like we have one friend of Cameron's that her mom reached out to me and said, when are you sending Cameron next year? Like they want the girls to go at the same time. So that's really cool too. Well, Dakota's already reapplied to work there again next year. So Dakota would be like, go. And then Cameron, like I said, is begging to go for 2 weeks straight next year. So my kids love camp, and I can't see them not going unless, unfortunately something like a global pandemic, which happened to Dakota, stops them from going. Again, working in recreation, I work with a lot of not-for-profit groups. So this camp in particular is a Rotary YMCA partnership camp. And the Rotary Club, the local Rotary Club really during the pandemic took a lot of opportunity to fix and restore and add new things to the facility, which is fantastic. So they have, from my understanding, I met up with a lady that said she went to Camp Presqu'ile like 50 years ago. So this camp has been around for a very long time and is so well maintained that, and the support of the Rotary Club and the YMCA, it will be around for a long time. It's beautiful. And like I said, the location being on Georgian Bay just provides like such a wonderful opportunity. There's also a little lake where they do a lot of canoeing and kayaking as well. So it may be a chance for your child to try something new. Maybe they don't have maybe you don't have a canoe or a kayak and they want to give it a try. They'll get to try new things and have a blast. Like summer camp memories are lifelong memories. Like I remember going to camp as a kid and it was my most favorite time.
For more information about this program, you can visit their profile at OurKidsNet.